Boots against Ortiz.
If Boots get hurt like he did the last time, Ortiz gonna finish him.
Wow.
So he gotta tighten up his defense.
10 steps behind you, right?
He gotta tighten up his defense. He gotta stop exchanging. I know
Vergil is gonna get in the ring with you. You think he wants to fight you at this point? I know y'all had whatever y'all had before, but I mean it's a new day, new division. Like you here now. So do you think that fight can be made?
I don't know. I hope so. We went all the way down to his fight by ourselves. They ain't pay for nothing. We paid for our own flight, hotel, our own ticket. We went all the way down there to him and Lubin fight. I get all the way in the ring and all that stuff. We arguing back and forth. I'm thinking it's done. I get out the ring. I'm thinking it's done. I wake up the next day. I hear him talking about some Errol Smith's dream fight. I'm like, hey, bro, it just in there. I'm like, what's going on? That's like him coming to my fight. We getting in front of each other, and I'm like, Danny Garcia, my dream fight. Like, right. The fans be going crazy. Like, yo, I don't know, it's crazy. But I thought that fight was done. Hopefully do. If not, whatever, so be it. Like I said, I'm down here. I'm already. This is my second fight at this weight class, and I'm already a unified champion. He's been at this weight class for how long now? So. I don't know. So
right now, I think Boots will fight anybody at 154. You heard it from him. He said he'll fight anybody with a belt, or anybody that's a top dog. And just speaking of that fight with Vergil, it's gonna be like a Stanionis type of beatdown. That's what it's going to be.
Terence Crawford has issued a warning to Jaron Boots Ennis ahead of a potential showdown with Vergil Ortiz Jr. He said that if Ennis gets hurt the way he did against Stanionis, Ortiz will be the one to finish the job, unlike Stanionis. Crawford argued that Ennis needs to tighten up his defense and cut down on unnecessary exchanges, acknowledging that while Ennis is faster and more explosive than most fighters at his level, he has shown a tendency to get careless and fight just for the sake of fighting.
You gotta tighten up his defense. He gotta stop exchanging. I know he's faster than most. He's more explosive than most, but at the same time, he's shown in the past that he can get careless and that he's going out there just to fight, and I don't think when you get higher and higher, that's gonna be enough.
Eddie said this would be a massive fight, you versus him.
Crawford referenced a long-running conversation with promoter Eddie Hearn about a potential Crawford versus Ortiz super fight, saying he had challenged Hearn before his own Canelo fight to financially back the matchup if he truly believed in Ortiz, and that Hearn declined to put money behind it.
Huge.
Eddie been talking about that for a long time. But the crazy thing about it is I told Eddie, I said, Eddie, this is before Canelo. I said, Eddie, you keep talking about this fight so much, put your money up. Eddie said, I'm not paying for that fight. I said, why not? You believe in your fighter? Oh, I'm not paying for that fight. I said, I rest my case.
Crawford pushed back on that framing, saying that if Zayas did quit, his corner should have made that call for him rather than leaving it in his hands. He characterized Zayas as simply inexperienced, explaining that glancing toward the corner during a tough moment is a normal survival instinct, not a sign of quitting, and said he wouldn't label Zayas that way, given that he never had to step into the ring against Ennis in the first place.
Well, I just look at him as inexperienced. Like, he really just gave his corner the opportunity to do whatever they wanted. That's how I see it.
Okay. Meaning when he looked over to them?
Right.
Okay.
But that's what you taught. You taught when you get a knockdown or if you get hurt, look at your corner. So I wouldn't say that he quit because he took the big step in getting in there when he didn't have to.
Looking ahead, Jaron Ennis said he wants at least one more fight before the end of the year as he pursues undisputed status at 154 pounds, calling this stretch of his career a legacy tour. He named Sebastian Fundora, Vergil Ortiz Jr., and Josh Kelly as the other title holders in the division and expressed hope, though uncertainty, that a fight with Ortiz could still happen.
The ring, what you think he wants to fight you at this point? I know y'all had whatever y'all had before, but I mean, it's a new day, new division, like you here now. So do you think that fight can be made?
I don't know. I hope so. We went all the way down to his fight by ourselves. They ain't pay for nothing. We paid for our own flight, hotel, our own ticket. We went all the way down there to him and Lubin fight. I get all the way in the ring and all that stuff. We arguing back and forth. I'm thinking it's done. I get out the ring. I'm thinking it's done. I wake up the next day. I hear him talking about some Errol Spence's dream fight. I'm like, hey, bro, it just in there. I'm like, what's going on? That's like him coming to my fight. We getting in front of each other, and I'm like, Danny Garcia, my dream fight. Like, right. the fans would be going crazy. Like, yo, I don't know, it's crazy. But I thought that fight was done. Hopefully do. If not, whatever, so be it. Like I said, I'm down here. I'm already. This is my second fight at this weight class, and I'm already a unified champion. He's been at this weight class for how long now? So I don't know. So like I said, I'm here to collect these belts and take over this division. So I ain't doing too much waiting around for nobody.
On balancing legacy versus finances, Ennis said money matters given his financial responsibilities, but being remembered as a fighter who cleaned out multiple weight classes and never lost matters just as much to him.
What's your balance, Boots, with the legacy thing and then making sure you get your paper and getting your chicken in negotiations? Like, what's the balance between like not giving too much and just being all legacy, but also being a businessman and a guy that's about legacy?
I mean, well, the older I'm getting now, of course it's the money, because I gotta eat. I got family. I got stuff. I got business. I got cribs. I got house. I got stuff going on. So of course it's the money too, but that legacy really important to me as well too, because you gotta stamp yourself. I don't want to be one of those boxers where they forget about you. You feel me? And I want to be one of those boxers where, like, when I retire as an undefeated, legend, I want them to be like then he did everything. He fought everybody. He beat everybody. He moved up multiple weight classes and took over like every division he was at. And I want to leave that mark,
Couple more and I'm gonna let you get out of here.
Legendary promoter Bob Arum reflected on Xander Zayas' performance against Jaron Ennis, admitting that he would have preferred Zayas to gain more experience before taking such a dangerous fight. However, Arum respected the young champion's willingness to challenge himself and pointed to the success Zayas had in certain moments, particularly during the third round, as evidence of his potential.
Well, I think, we would have preferred Xander not to take that fight because he was young and wasn't really ready, but he insisted that he wanted that fight, and it may not turn out so bad because, as you said, people remember that round where he had Boots in a lot of trouble, the third round.
Yeah. Discussing a hypothetical showdown between Ennis and Terence Crawford, Arum made it clear that he still views Crawford as one of boxing's most difficult puzzles to solve. He described Crawford as a rare fighter capable of switching seamlessly between orthodox and southpaw stances while maintaining elite effectiveness from both positions.
I don't know, Crawford is an awfully good fighter. And, it would take a real wizard to beat him. Crawford has something that no other fighter around has, and people haven't commented on it, and that is he fights equally well as a southpaw or as a right-hander. And so when you train for a fight, usually the fighter he's fighting trains for him as an orthodox fighter, right-handed fighter. And so from the first round on, he'll turn southpaw, and the guy isn't ready for him. That's what beat Spence. Spence trained for the fight like he was fighting an orthodox fighter in Terence, and Terence fought him as a southpaw.
Trainer Brian McIntyre was asked whether Jaron Boots Ennis is ushering in his own era of boxing, similar to how Terence Crawford once distinguished his generation from Floyd Mayweather's. McIntyre welcomed the idea of the Boots era, acknowledging Ennis as a great fighter while pointing out that he still has to share the stage with other young active talents like Shakur Stevenson and Naoya Inoue.
When you say that, I'm just curious because I know Terence, he had his era and he was very complimentary in the sense of like, look, it's like Floyd and me, like, that's never gonna happen. And in a case like this is like the Boots era, right? So, I mean, with you who understands multi-divisions, like, do you kind of see Jaron kind of being one of those next guys, if anything, kind of following the footprints of?
I
I think he have to. I mean, he's a great fighter. He can start his own era like what he's doing now, but he got a lot of guys he got to compete with, like Shakur. You know, he got Inoue. You know, those guys are young and still fighting, so I ain't gonna really call it the Boots era. I just think he's a great fighter in the era with other guys that can say this was my.
McIntyre expanded on the broader landscape at 147 and 154 pounds, naming Vergil Ortiz Jr. and Sebastian Fundora alongside Ennis as part of a 50-50 tier where no clear favorite exists until they actually fight each other. He noted that Ortiz has a track record of finishing opponents once he hurts them, while Fundora's height and range have allowed him to steadily clean out the division despite an earlier loss on his record.
You know, with that, I know, like, there's the Fundoras and Vergils, like, they all have to fight each other to even come to that conclusion. I mean, is that, amongst those guys, is there someone stand out a little bit more, or is it still kind of 50-50 across?
I think it's a 50-50 across the board, you know, because when you look at Vergil and when he get guys hurt, like maybe Boots was hurt, you know, he finished them off. You look at Fundora with the range and the height he got, you know, even though he'd been beat before, since then he's just been cleaning them up. And so we all waiting to see, you know, when those two or three, you know, like the four kings, when they tangle. So we, you know, as boxing fans, we just sit back and watch.
Turning to Ennis' win over Xander Zayas, McIntyre said Ennis had cleared a major hurdle and is now positioned for his next big test. He drew a historical comparison, likening the current buildup among the top welterweights to the way Marvin Hagler's win over Tommy Hearns set the stage for the next great matchup of that era, joking that fans are now waiting to see who steps up next the way Sugar Ray Leonard or Roberto Duran once did.
So, you know, Boots, he got over that hurdle, a big hurdle, so it's on for the next one.
For sure.
That's like when Marvin Hagler beat Tommy Hearns.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, all right, he's down there, and now we got Sugar Ray Leonard next, or Roberto Duran next, you know, so everybody just...
Boxing analyst Timothy Bradley Jr. said he believes Sebastian Fundora is one of the few fighters who could give Jaron Boots Ennis real trouble, but stressed that this is due to Fundora's physical attributes rather than superior boxing skill. Bradley pointed to Fundora's reach, volume, punching power, and ability to control distance as tools that make him a difficult, awkward opponent for anyone trying to close the distance.
Give Boots a run from his money. He could. And I only say that because of his attributes. Not because of his boxing skills. It's because of his attributes. That's why. This guy has, and it's Sebastian Fundora. You guys know who he is. He's a southpaw too, right? He has range. He has volume. He has punching power as well. Okay? He knows how to keep his distance. He's difficult. I know he's been knocked out before. I know that. But you got to go through a dang rain of fire to be able to get close to this guy if he don't want you to get close. Now, everybody's saying, well, Thurman was supposed to get whooped. I told y'all Thurman was going to get whooped too. Y'all heard it here too. Y'all said he going to get whooped. Okay? But I was studying the film the other day, and Boots has the style that I believe that can give him fits because of his elusiveness.
Bradley claimed that Fundora currently has a full year to fulfill a WBC mandatory obligation, but is choosing not to pursue a fight with Ennis, suggesting that Fundora's team wants no part of that matchup, while Vergil Ortiz Jr. remains tied up in litigation, a fight Bradley said he personally wants to see happen first.
That's why you see Fundora wanting to fight, because he don't have to fight his mandatory. I'm letting y'all know that right now. He got a year to fight his mandatory. An entire year with the WBC, right? And all he has to do is ask the WBC, hey, I want to pursue this bigger venture with Boots Ennis, but as you see, the manager, all right, They don't want it to do anything. They don't want anything to do with Boots. Nothing to do with Boots. And so people saying, well, Boots ain't fighting nobody. Boots ain't fight. So now he wants to fight somebody, right? And nobody wants to fight him. And nobody wants to fight him. So we've heard that Josh Kelly might want to do it because Hearns got Josh Kelly. Okay, that's might want to do it. Vergil is tied up in litigation. Hopefully he can get his stuff together because that's the fight that I want to see first. I want to see Vergil and Boots first. But if you can't get that, then why is Fundora, hiding and ducking and, the towering inferno? And I got nothing but love and respect for him because that man is from around my way. He's from around my way. He's from the Valley. I got nothing but respect for Fundora, okay? But I think what it is that they see the danger in fighting him right now. He's hot right now. Let him cool down a little.
Bradley contrasted this with Fundora's past public callouts of Terence Crawford. When Fundora repeatedly said he wanted to test himself against the best available fighter, Bradley argued that by that same logic, Fundora should now be pursuing Ennis, whom he considers the most talented fighter in the division based on the eye test rather than his resume.
But if he was really about that action, if he was really, Fundora was really about that action, he would tell his managers, nah, I want him. I want him. You remember when Fundora was saying that he wanted Crawford? I want to fight Terence Crawford. I want to fight Terence Crawford. I want to fight Terence Crawford. I kept hearing that from Fundora. He wanted to challenge himself against the best. Well, right now, who's considered, I would say, the best in the division or the most talented? We're not going by resume. We're going by just eye test talent. It's Boots.
Bradley argued that fighters often lose sight of the fans who ultimately fund the sport through ticket sales and pay-per-view purchases. Drawing on his own career approach of fighting aggressively to please audiences, even at the cost of taking more punishment, he said that in a properly run sport, marquee fights like Fundora versus Ennis should happen.
Fighters always forget that the fans, you guys at home, you guys watching, you the ones that's paying for this. Y'all the ones that buy the tickets. Y'all the ones. I was a fighter, I understand that. That's the reason why I fought the way I fought. Tim, you got hit a lot. You got hit a lot. I was short. I had a big head. Yeah, I slipped punches as well. I did get hit quite a bit because I'm being aggressive, because I'm trying to please the fans at home. Okay? So, Fundora, Josh Kelly, all these fights, they should be made. If boxing was a sport, it was a real sport and ran the right way, those fights will be happening. We wouldn't have to wait 10 years, 15 years, 5 years.
So that's all we have from today's video, and we hope you enjoyed it. Share your thoughts in the comments section, and make sure to subscribe to our channel for more amazing boxing content.